Hello everybody, it's Not Feeling Good Friday. Now this is a special episode tonight, this afternoon. I'm filming here in North Carolina. I'm here on Lake Norman with the youth group from our church. I came over here from Chicago to meet up with them, and I wanted to share a story with you that I think is very important, very significant. I guess I'll call this broadcast Soul Food Sunday, since this is a Sunday evening. Well, on Thursday night of this week, as I was preparing for my Feeling Good Friday broadcast that I do every Friday, as you know, I called my son Cody, and I was talking to him around 11 o'clock that night, and we were talking about what I had planned to share for the day. And we had just learned of the news of everything that was going on in Dallas and the tragedy there. And in light of all of that, we decided to scrap what I was going to say and talk about healing for our nation instead, and encourage each of you to pray for our nation as well. Well, I want to fast forward to Saturday night after I left Chicago and got here to North Carolina. On Saturday night, we were with our youth group, chaperoning this youth trip. We were really blessed to be able to take part in the first worship service at Elevation Church Ballantyne campus. We had over 30 people from our home church there, and my son and my daughter-in-law, who live here in Charlotte, were there with us. And I'm going to tell you, it was an incredible service with over 1,800 people there in the brand new church, and there was an overflow crowd outside. And Pastor Furtick got up and preached from 1 Samuel on the story of David and Goliath from a perspective that I've never heard before. Now, I know in my mind, most of our minds, we often think of about ourselves as the David. And Goliath is our personal, one of our personal problems, or many of our personal problems. We see Goliath as those personal problems. We often forget that the story of Goliath, in this story, Goliath had been cursing the entire nation of Israel every day for over a month. And you know, Goliath was not David's personal problem. Goliath was a problem for the whole country of Israel. Does that sound familiar? Well, David didn't even know that Goliath existed until the day that he killed him. And the only reason that he was even there at the battlefield that day was because of a small act of obedience. He was taking food to his brothers as his father had commanded him to do. I would encourage all of you, if you have an opportunity, to look up that message. Go to Elevation Church Network or elevationchurch.com. Look up the message from this weekend and see what Pastor Furtick went on to say about the whole story of Goliath and how he related this story to the racial tensions in our country today. And he did make a statement that I think is pretty profound. He said that our country certainly can't be fixed by a Facebook post, and not even with prayer. But he said, I believe it can be fixed with small acts of obedience to live and love with our fellow men and women in our country today. As this message was coming to a close, I stood there at the end of that service with tears running down my face as I realized something that had happened Friday afternoon at the recording and filming of my Feeling Good Friday episode there in Chicago. Let's rewind for a second to that Friday afternoon. And I encourage you to go back and watch that Feeling Good Friday video before you watch this one. But Kim is standing there. My wife Kim was with me. I didn't have my tripod, so she was standing there holding the camera, filming Feeling Good Friday for me in Chicago. And just over to the right, and I didn't see this until after the filming was over, but just over to the right, there was a black man sitting on a bench, and he was listening to what I was saying. And after I got through filming, he called out to me, smiled at me, called out to me, gave me a big thumbs up, and said, "I really appreciate what you just said." So I walked over to this man and introduced myself to him, found out what his name was, told him I was from Mississippi, asked him where he was from. Well, much to my surprise, Mr. Vincent Johnson told me he was from Montgomery, Alabama. Here in this big, huge city, Chicago, Illinois, on the banks of the Chicago River, stood a white man from Mississippi and a black man from Alabama. How unlikely for that meeting to have taken place on that day, and the significance of what's going on in our country right now. That we too, from two places on this earth, in our nation, that have such a horrible reputation, in the past reputation, I should say, for racial injustice and for problems connected to that. But we both connected with each other in spite of our differences. And we were able to bless each other and encourage each other that afternoon. To me, as I stood there in that service, and those tears running down my face, realizing the significance of that, it just overwhelmed me to think that could happen. That meeting just didn't happen by chance. I didn't just meet Vincent Johnson by chance. That was orchestrated, and we were able to bless each other on such a horrible day in our country. A white man and a black man coming together to reach out to each other and bless each other on that particular day. And I don't know, what you guys are thinking. You may be thinking that what can I do? What can I do to make a difference in what's happened in our nation? I don't want you to think that there's not anything that you can do to help, because I believe there is. I believe you should be on the lookout for opportunities to show love and to bless someone else this week, because that is how we can take down the Goliath that we face today as a nation. We're not going to take him down with fear and hate, but with love and compassion for our fellow man. We can take down the Goliath that's trying to destroy our nation, that's cursing our nation. I hope this encourages you tonight, and I pray that you all will continue to join with me in praying for our nation, and join with me this week. And then there's one of the significant thing about this week, that as we're here in Charlotte, that I want to close with. Coming week is Love Week in Charlotte, and what our youth group is doing here is working with a couple of mission groups to show that love, to show that compassion to people in this city that are hurting. So look for every opportunity you have this week and celebrate with us this Love Week, and reach out and show love and compassion to someone this week. Thank you all for taking the time to listen to this story tonight. And I'll look forward to seeing you all this coming Friday on Feel a Good Friday somewhere in our great country of America. God bless you all. Good night.